Yeah, shake it, shake it. Oh yeah, shake it out. Shake it all out. Hey girls, look, I dressed hippie. It's a little tight. I dressed hippie. Why? Because it's 420, girls. I am very excited that it is 420 because it's a great day of the year. I cannot say how much cannabis has helped my life. It has made me so much calmer. And this year I thought, you know what? It's legal in Canada. I am tired of going to all of my work functions and them serving wine like it's no big deal. And me being like, give me some edibles, bitch. I'm 22 years sober from alcohol. I do not need that shit. Give me my fun. Anyways, happy 420 to all those who can enjoy it legally. I'm sorry for those who can't. So tonight, I thought I would tell you a very good marijuana story for 420. It's called My Stag Night. Guess what it's about? You're so right. You're clever. You're the smartest audience. It's about my stag night. So, my husband proposed to me 6 months into our relationship because he told me tonight, actually, which he loves to say, I just wanted you to shut up. So I knew if I proposed, I wouldn't have to worry about you worrying and talking about it. You just, that problem would go away. So I proposed, and now you're calmer and you get to live in peace. He looks handsome, and everybody he thinks that they love him, but he's trouble. So he proposed to me 6 months in, and it took us a year and a half. We decided because we were both from the eastern part of the, eastern Ontario and Quebec. We wanted our families to be able to come, and we couldn't do it in the summer. And you get married in the summer in the Okanagan. You couldn't do it in the summer, so you wanted to do it the following year because you didn't want to do it within 6 months. So that's what we did. So a year and a half goes by, and it's time for the big wedding. But he's got friends who are in town about 6 weeks before. They're in Vancouver, and that's a 4-hour drive from here. And he's going to go to town because they're his Toronto friends, and he's going to party with them, and he's going to have a stag night, which I was super jealous about. I couldn't go, so I didn't get to go to the trip to the big city and hang out because they were having their stag night, and you don't invite your husband or your fiance to your stag night, right? So I thought, screw that. I'm going to have my own stag night. I'm just going to get my friends together. I'm not going to miss out. I'm going to make my own fun. So I invited all my besties, and we decided we were going to go for sushi. And because it was the summer and it was nice out and it was good weather, that's when I make my pot butter, because you put it outside with overnight in water and marijuana and lard shortening or butter or whatever. And I do it in the summer. I don't know why. I just don't think it's a wintertime thing. I guess it doesn't matter. That's just one of my idiosyncrasies. The things you're learning about me. So I'm making my pot butter, and I do a really great batch, and I think, okay, I'll just bake cookies and we'll see how strong they are, and then I'll have some. So that was the night before. So I have all these fresh baked cookies, and I bring them to my stag night, and because a whole bunch of my friends are potheads, and I tell them, okay, I'm going to do a cookie because it's stag night and I want to have fun. And we were going to go to sushi and then go out on the town somewhere and have some fun, just spontaneous fun. So we all eat the cookie before we have supper. We eat sushi, and then none of us are really feeling very much. But I tell them whenever we take the cookie, look, this is a new batch, and normally I eat a third. No, I eat a sixth to a quarter. So I don't eat that much. So let's at the most have no more than a quarter, because I've made cookies before and I made butter before, and I was fairly familiar. And the pot was fairly reliable, I thought, because I'd used some in a different batch. So it was the same pot, but it was a new batch. Well, Karma and Adrian were there. Karma didn't want to have any. Adrian said, okay, I'll have some, but I'm going to have a half because I'm a big stoner and I smoke way more than you. And I've been smoking since I was a teenager, and we're almost the same age. So I'm a big macho straight guy. I'm going to have half. I was like, I only recommend a quarter. He's like, bah. And Lise and David were there. Lise and David moved here in the 70s, I think. They were the typical Okanagan Quebecois kids who hitched across the country to be fruit pickers for a summer, fell in love with the Okanagan, and stayed. And that she's from Winnipeg and he's from Quebec somewhere, not sure where. Anyways, Quebec. So they're both French, bilingual French. And we love hanging out with them because Francis gets to speak French and I get to practice my French and we have a lot of fun. And they are master storytellers. They've lived everything. All kinds of crazy things have happened to them. I'm going to try to get one of them on the show as a guest, or both of them, but separately on the show as guests to tell stories. They're fucking brilliant people. I aspire to be them when I reach their age. So they're like older than Francis's parents. They're in their early 60s. And Francis calls them the Rod Stewarts because they both sort of have a Rod Stewart haircut, or at times have. So that's the nickname, the Rod Stewarts. Anyways, they're really fun. And David has been a pothead since he was 12 years old or 10 years old or came out in the womb. I don't know. He's been a pothead forever. And he's very proud of his masculinity and his pot consumption. And he says, I'm going to eat a whole cookie. And I'm like, David, that's 4 times what I think you should have. He's like, and I eat my quarter. And I think we're the only 3 who have any. The rest of them are like, oh, yeah, whatever. We don't care. Maybe we'll smoke a little later. So we decide that we're going to go get ice cream while we wait to find, the next big adventure. We're going to get ice cream because ice cream is my big thing. I'm in love with ice cream more than anything. And I think, okay, well, if it's my stag night, you got to have frickin' ice cream. And it must be a long weekend. And that's why the girls are in town, because we went to ice cream that isn't the place I would have picked. But anyways, we went to this ice cream shop that I don't normally go to. And because it was my stag, they'd gotten me some fun things to make it feel more like a party, right? So they got me a big sort of purple Mirabeau feather boa, and I wrapped it around my head instead of around my neck. So it made a great big mane. And I was feeling, not very much, I didn't think, when I went to the ice cream shop. But apparently I walked in and I said to the guy behind the counter, if I told you I was straight, I'd be lying, because I had a lion's mane. But all he saw was some weirdo guy walks into the ice cream shop with a feather boa around his head and talks about not being straight. And it's pretty obvious you're not, buddy. Like, So we get our ice cream. I don't know what I got. I probably got Rocky Road, in case you're wondering. Probably Rocky Road, because that would have been a little special treat. Or maybe I got pistachio. Can't remember. Anyways, I didn't get chocolate. I got something with a bit of flair. Normally, I just get chocolate and coconut. So I go outside, and we're all hanging out outside. And I had given David a few extra cookies because I baked some, and he's been so nice to me. And I think maybe it was even his pot. Maybe that's why I knew it was reliable. Yeah, that makes sense. So I gave him a bunch of cookies to pay him, to thank him, pay him back. That was sort of the deal. I'll give you a shake so you can create your butter and you just make me some cookies. And while we're sitting outside eating our ice cream, I suddenly look over and I see David chewing on something. He's putting something in his mouth. I was like, David, what was that, another cookie? He was like, yeah. I'm like, was that a whole cookie? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, honey, that is 2 cookies. And I said, you should only have a quarter. Like, I don't think that's a very good idea. And he thought I was mothering him. He was like, oh, Michael, you have no idea. I'm not feeling anything. He gets this little devilish grin on his face. He's got these little devilish, handsome eyes. And he gives you this grin like, I'm a bad boy. It's like that night I met my husband and I smoked 2 cigarettes because once a year I'm a badass. I had 2 cigarettes that night. I was twice the badass. And he had 2 cookies. He was twice the cookie badass. So 5 minutes later, I guess maybe it's the sugar in my system and only having had sushi, which, doesn't take long to get processed, all of a sudden, boom, I felt something and it was profound. And I got very overwhelmed. And I said, okay, I got to lay down on the concrete. My friend Anne-Marie loves to tell me how I lay down on the concrete. She thought it was a big deal. But, if you feel like you might pass out, you lay on the concrete. It was a really hot day. I probably needed some water. I'd had salty seafood. And I really need to lay down. And just then everybody else, David and Adrian started to feel a little something too. And we were like, this is a bit intense. We're like, oh yeah, this is a bit intense. And Adrian and Karma live just across the street from me, or did. We both moved since, but they lived we were kitty corner. So it was like, 30 paces, 30 big paces from one door to the other. So we decided we were going to walk home. Everyone was like, yeah, we need to get out of here if you guys are feeling weird. We don't want you on the street passing out. Fair enough. And I thought, okay, well, whatever. I'm going to still have fun with my two friends. We're going to go home and it's going to be nice. And we only had to walk 3.5 blocks. And they were a terrifyingly long 3.5 blocks. I was so baked. Everything felt intense. Moving felt intense. It was one of those crazy nights of, holy cow, my entire body is open to the universe. All the energy of the universe is flowing through me. I am a giant ball of living flesh that, you can feel every microbe and cell within you. It was a big feeling. So we walked the 3.5 blocks home. Adrian's feeling quite stoned. He's had twice as much as me. And he says, okay, well, let's just hang out in your apartment. I don't want to go home right now. So, and I don't want to be alone. I want to be with somebody else who's having this experience. And I was like, thank God, I don't want to be alone, stoned on my stag night, feeling like this. So karma's fine. We go up to my apartment and I have this little TV room where I've got this couch that I got. It makes into a queen size bed. It's two big foamy cushions. It's really handsome. And my friend said, whenever I bought it, I kind of know the girl who works at the store where I bought it because I've been going in there all the time. I don't buy things all the time. I just go in and look when I'm in Vancouver. And I used to live on that street. Anyways, and she said, oh, yeah, I'll sell you this couch. You're going to love it. Because I was like, don't sell me crap, right? She was like, no, you're going to love this couch. My brother bought one. My mother bought one. I'm going to buy one. And my brother has a bad back and he sleeps on this couch. He calls it the flip and fuck. And I was like, sold. Sold. So this is the couch that I had in my spare room, and I would watch TV in there. I had a big TV in a tiny little room with a couch you could make out into a double bed. So we made it out into the queen size bed, and the three of us laid side by side, and we watched a 2-hour movie. It was a documentary. It was really pretty. It was just landscapes. There was nothing to it. It was really calming. And throughout that entire 2 hours, I would check in with Adrian and say, how are you doing? And he'd say, I'm okay. It's really intense. If it doesn't get worse than this, I'll be fine. And he was laying in the fetal position. And a half an hour would pass, and I'd ask him, and he'd say the same thing. If it doesn't get any worse than this, I'll be fine. But it made me think it must be getting worse, right? he just was doing a very good job of managing it. So the 2-hour movie passes, and when it's done, I say, okay, well, that was great. And I'm feeling, okay, I'm fine. If you guys want to go home, don't worry about me. And Adrian was like, oh no, I can't go anywhere. And Karma was like, Adrian, we just live across the street and I'll be with you. I'll take you home. You'll be fine. Oh no, he says, I'm not going anywhere. I am still not able to move. So we watch another 1-hour show. And then he said, okay, I think I can walk across the street now. Machismo. It's not always your friend, right? It might get you the dates, but it's not going to keep you alive. So they go home. I have a great, fine night. I just watch some more TV and I go to bed. And the next morning, I call my husband and I tell him the whole story of, oh my God, we got so stoned. You couldn't believe it. It was crazy. I had to lay down on the ground. He was so mad at me. He was not happy with the fact that I got overstoned, but I was being moderate. I thought a quarter cookie was a very good, moderate try. I didn't know it was that strong. It was the same pot. I guess I cooked it longer, or it was off a different bush, or who knows. But I really thought I was being very moderate. Though, and I gave my friends hell for, overstepping. Then I get off the phone with him and I get a phone call from David because he'd had two. So I sent him a text. And it turns out they walked around the park because he wasn't feeling well. And he threw up many times in the park. He got poisoning from the marijuana. He could take two, and right? I think not. And so his wife was super mad at him for taking two. She didn't know that he'd snuck a second one. And I was super mad at him for taking two. And he got so sick. He said, in all the 50 years that I've been smoking, I've never been sick like that. Even when I did acid, oh, shouldn't have said that. Even when I did acid, because it was, the 70s, who didn't do acid when you were a hippie tree planter? I never got sick like this. It was so intense. So that is the story of my Stag Night. It's a 420 story. Okay. I love you people. I'm so glad you're here. Hi to Michael King. Hi to Udi. Hi to Randy. You're lovely people. So if you want to send me a selfie, you can send it to michaelvsmith.com. I have some selfies to show you, which will make you very excited because it's been quite a few days where I haven't sent you a picture. Here we go. I'm going to show you this one. These are my friends. We've seen these friends before, but we really love them. This is Rahaf and Alan and Anas. And look. Oh, wait. Oh, look, I also got a gay kiss one. Ow, what's homosexuals kissing? That's so sweet. Oh, love right here on my show. Do I have anything else? Oh, here are the cookies that I baked yesterday. I baked some new ones yesterday just for fun, and then I gave them to some friends in the neighborhood at a good social distance. I washed my hands. I put them in a container I didn't touch. I never touched the cookies. I brought them over. I told them what part I touched. I left them at the door, and they came out after. Anyways, I have a whole protocol. Don't you worry. I want to tell you that I'm adding in two things. I'm adding in a shorts night because I thought I could screen a movie or two and then talk a little bit about the movie and take on its genesis, how it came about, and the ideas that we had in it, and things that happened. So we could screen movies. You could ask me questions. And I'm putting in a poetry night because why not? The poetry in the circus and all that. It was fun. And so I'm adding things in to increase the quantity in the bag. Oh, and I put some new story in there the other day too, and my Stag Night's new story. So we're doing okay, just in case you're worried. Oh, and for Emily, who likes it when I sing it, because she sings it along with me, you gonna sing it with me? We're gonna draw a story from the Magic Story Bag. Oh, okay, what's this one? Here. Fabulous faints. Oh, nobody faints quite like me. So tomorrow I'm going to tell you all about my fainting spells. Those are some fun stories. They even have a little bit of romance in them. I want to remind you that you can send me a selfie, and you can send it through my email. You can like this video. You can share any old video you want on any old social media you want. I have 365 followers or something, which is so sweet, and I don't really care about others. I'm just talking to my friends. And you can subscribe to my page, and you can also click the notification bell. That's still really loud because I forget all the time, which is part of my charm. I love you to pieces. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're surviving the mid-April, and I hope it's really beautiful there because it's 23 degrees here. On that happy note, suckers. See you tomorrow. Mwah.